The Red Sea stands as one of the world's busiest trade routes, connecting the Mediterranean to the Indian Ocean through the Suez Canal, a vital waterway spanning almost 2,000 kilometers. This route is the quickest sea path between Europe and Asia. Notably, the Suez Canal contributed to 9.2 million barrels per day of total oil flows in the first half of 2023, impacting about 12% of global trade. On the opposite side of the Red Sea lies the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, a narrow passage between Yemen and the Horn of Africa. It facilitates almost 40% of global trade. Unfortunately, this Red Sea stretch is currently facing escalating tensions, prompting major shipping companies to divert their routes. The primary cause is the involvement of the Houthis. So, who exactly are the Houthis? Formerly identified as Ansar Allah, or the adherents of God. The Houthis constitute a sizable clan with roots in Yemen's Sayada province. They adhere to the Zaydi variant of Shiism, comprising approximately 35% of Yemen's population. Despite having governed Yemen for 1,000 years, their influence waned under the Sunni administration that emerged following the conclusion of the 1962 civil war. While being part of the Shia branch of Islam, the Houthis follow a distinct sect diverging from the predominant Twelver Shia Islam observed in countries like Iran, Iraq, and Lebanon. The Zaydis derive their name from Zayd ibn Ali, the great-grandson of Hazrat Ali, who met his demise in a rebellion. Zayd is venerated as a leader who valiantly opposed a corrupt regime. The Zaydis believe that it's their religious duty to stand up against rulers they see as unfair, which is different from most Sunni and Shia beliefs that usually encourage people to stay united instead of causing trouble. For 1,000 years, Zaydis have been living in the mountains of what used to be northern Yemen, in today's Sayada province, next to Saudi Arabia. In 1978, Ali Abdullah Salih, who was a Zaydi, became the leader in former North Yemen. 12 years later, North Yemen and South Yemen joined together to become one country. Salih stayed in power until 2011. In the late 1980s, a Salafi institute funded by Saudi Arabia was set up in the north of Yemen with support from the government. This made Zaydis feel left out, so they tried to bring back their religion and culture under the leadership of Hussein Badreddin al-Houthi, and that's how the Houthi movement started. The first president of the country, Ali Abdullah Salih, initially backed all Houthis movement, but it soon became a problem for him. In 2003, tensions rose when Salih supported the US invasion of Iraq, and many Yemenis didn't like that. Al-Houthi saw this as a chance to act. He led big protests against the government. In 2004, Yemeni forces killed Hussein al-Houthi, and his brother Abdul Malik al-Houthi took over. Even though Saudi Arabia supported the government, Iran started supporting the Houthis despite differences in their beliefs. The Houthi movement agreed to Iran's help but didn't want them to interfere directly. For the Iranians, having the Houthis as a counterforce against Saudi interests was a big deal. The Houthis did well in the beginning, winning some battles that made the Saudi-backed government respond with even more force. They managed to agree on a break from fighting in 2010, but a year later, when the Arab Spring reached Yemen, people there also wanted a change. President Ali Abdullah Salih had to give up his position to his deputy, Abd Abu Mansur Hadi, in November 2011. However, this change didn't go smoothly. There were lots of problems, like many people not having jobs, not having enough food, suicide bombings, and a group wanting to split from the rest of the country in the south. All these issues eventually led to the start of the war. On one side were the Houthis, a rebel group following Shia politics, along with those loyal to former President Saleh. On the other side were the forces supporting the new Hayati government. In 2014, the Houthis made a strong move, seizing control of parts of Sana'a, the capital of Yemen. They even stormed the presidential palace, making Abd Rabu Mansur Hadi escape to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia saw the Houthi actions as an immediate threat and worried that Iran might use this opportunity to gain influence near their border. While Saudi Arabia accused Iran of supporting the rebels, Tehran denied any involvement. As a response, Saudi Arabia formed an alliance and launched a military campaign. Unfortunately, it had a devastating impact, resulting in over 10,000 casualties since February 2014 and forcing more than 3 million people to flee their homes. Several other countries are helping this alliance with weapons, intelligence, or logistics. However, Qatar was expelled from this coalition in June 2017. The coalition led by Saudi Arabia aims to bring back Haiti's government, but they face challenges in reclaiming the northern part of the country, including its capital, Sana'a. Meanwhile, groups like Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula and ISIS affiliates capitalized on the disorder, seizing portions of the south and escalating attacks in government, held Aden. In 2017, the Houthis accused Salih of treason, leading to a battle between Houthi and Salih supporters in Sana'a. Salih was killed by a Houthi sniper during this confrontation. The conflict between the Houthis and the Saudi Arabia-led coalition persisted until 2022. Although a ceasefire was signed, it lapsed after 6 months. However, A full-scale conflict between the Houthis and Saudis has not resumed yet. Since then, the Houthis have strengthened their hold on most of northern Yemen. They've even proposed a deal to the Saudis, aiming not only to permanently end the war, but also solidify their position as the rulers of the country. So, who's backing the Houthis, and what has made them powerful enough to negotiate with the Saudis? The key supporter is Iran. Starting in 2014, as the civil war intensified, Iran increased its aid to the Houthis. According to a 2021 report, Iran supplied the Houthis with weapons technology for sea mines, ballistic and cruise missiles, and drones. The Houthis align with Iran's axis of resistance, an anti-Israel and anti-West alliance of regional militias supported by Tehran. Hamas and Hezbollah are also part of this axis. Returning to the Red Sea, it has become a battleground influenced by the Israel-Hamas conflict. In the past 4 weeks, the Houthis have targeted or taken control of commercial ships 12 times using drones and missiles. They assert that these attacks will persist unless Israel ceases its bombardment of the Gaza Strip and demands more aid, including food and medicines, to be sent into Gaza. In response to these actions, the United States has declared a 10-nation patrol team to counter the Houthis in the Red Sea. In retaliation, Yemen's Houthis have issued a warning, stating that they would target American warships if attacked by Washington. Trade through the Red Sea is on hold as threats have soared, causing a significant spike in shipping insurance costs. Big players like oil giant BP and shipping leader Musk are changing course for their ships. In an ideal situation, if a vessel departs from a port in China, it will take around 27 days to cover 18,520 kilometers at 10,000 nautical miles and reach northern Europe. However, with ships now being forced to take the Cape of Good Hope route, which entails circumnavigating the entire African continent, it is now taking them 37 to 41 days to reach their destination. Thus, ships have to cover 25,000 kilometers, around an additional 6,000 kilometers, for their journey around the Cape of Good Hope. The development has increased freight rates by around 20 to 30%. This is so because each merchant vessel taking the alternate route is incurring an extra expense of around $1.25 million per sailing between Asia and Europe. This shift is also affecting oil and other fossil fuel prices, including natural gas, which have gone up. Experts predict that energy costs may continue to climb if the situation stays unstable.